There is a podcast that lies between the imagination of two simple-minded earthlings. Travel with these two longtime friends, Jimbo and 80s E, as they attempt to explore the fifth dimension. Follow along with them as they take the key and unlock the door to the vast space between shadow and substance. This podcast is one of trivia, of insight, and of sounds and ideas from one of the greatest television shows ever produced. You are embarking on a timeless journey. There is your signpost up ahead. You are entering the tragedy of cinema's Twilight Zone.
Dark was Jess-Belle. Both they loved the same man, and both they loved him well.
The Twilight Zone has existed in many lands and many times. It has its roots in history and something that happened long, long ago and got told about and handed down from one generation of folk to the other. In the telling, the story gets added to and embroidered on, so that what might have happened in the time of the Druids is told as if it took place yesterday in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Such stories are best told by an elderly grandfather on a cold winter's night by the fireside in the southern hills of the Twilight Zone.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema podcast, the Twilight Zone series. I'm your host, Jimbo, and today I'm joined by you know him, you love him, from the west side of Indianapolis.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Obed Miller on Indianapolis, Indiana, coming to you live from the Blue Ridge Mountains.
From way down south from parts unknown.
Hey, this is Bond from Texas, but I guess you don't know me and love me. I don't know what happened there.
Well,
something happened.
You're second fiddle when it comes to Twilight Zone, right?
Ain't that the truth? I feel like Jess-Belle.
Yeah. Jimbo, tell us about this episode. What's going to happen?
Gentlemen, tonight, what number is this? Is this number 6?
This is number 7.
This is number 7.
Is this Bond 007? So
nice.
Episode 7 of season 4. We're chugging right along in these hour-long episodes. And boy, did this one feel like it took forever to get through. This episode is titled Jess-Belle. So here's a little bit of a synopsis the way Jimbo can do it. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
In a dusty frontier town, a young woman named Jess-Belle. And I'm going to pause here for a second. Did you notice Jess-Belle kind of sounds like Jezebel? Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, back to the voice. Wants to win the heart of a man who is already involved with another.
Another man?
A magical solution between beauty and charm. Jess-Belle makes a deal with a mysterious, wary figure who we like to call, was it Grandma Hart, I do believe, who promises to grant her beauty and allure. As she transforms, she wins the man's attention, but the magic comes with a price. The unintended consequences of changing who she is, emotional complications, rivalries, and moral cost began to unravel Jess-Belle's relationships and sense of self. Come with us as we explore this episode with themes of vanity, the true nature of love, and the danger of seeking shortcuts to happiness. And that is your synopsis.
Oh, very good. Very good. Thank you for that plot summary.
That was so good. I'm not even sure I watched the same episode as you guys.
Yeah, I know. I'm very interested.
Go back and watch it again.
Yeah, I'm very interested now in this episode.
This is one of those episodes you look up on the internet, and it's always like in the 10 worst episodes of the Twilight Zone of the whole series, right? We've all seen it.
We'll have to see how it plays out. Yeah,
I'm just saying. Have you seen those lists where this appears on all those lists?
Yep.
I know you have too.
Yeah, this is always on that list.
And I'm going to go ahead and say it right here. It may not be in the bottom 10, folks. It just may not be.
Yeah, well,
and we'll leave it at that right now. Let's get her done. Let's talk about her.
All right, Jess-Belle, as you've already given us this great plot summary, this was the Twilight Zone season 4 episode number 7. As far as ratings go, it comes in on IMDb at least at a 6.9, and consequently, this was released the very first time. Its original air date was February the 14th, 1963. So you could take your sweetheart Well, you could take her in front of the TV in the living room and you could watch this great episode, Jess-Belle. Yeah, so it was a story about love, a story about deception, on and on we could go. But let's talk about this date in history, February 14th, 1963, in our favorite segment we like to call On This Day in History.
Is me and Bond fighting to the death right now? Is that what
Do I need to get into my gladiator outfit?
Yeah, sorry, actually. I hit two buttons on that one. Let's talk about this day in history. On this day in TV, film, music, and sports history. Let's see how many of these you guys know. So on February 14th, 1876, one Alexander Graham Bell and Elijah Gray, somebody you don't really hear much about, but they actually apply separately for telephone patents. The Supreme Court eventually rules that Bell is the rightful inventor of the telephone. So I thought that was kind of interesting all the way back in 1876. In 1924, on February 14th, a guy by the name of Thomas J. Watson Sr., he renames the Computing Tabulating Recording Company, or CTR. He renames that company to the International Business Machine, or you guys know what that stands for? International. That's right. Yeah, the IBM computer.
What year was that?
That was in 1924 when he changed the name from the Tabulating Recording Company to IBM.
So IBM's over 100 years old.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
February the 14th, 1929, there was an infamous event that happened that involved Al Capone, and 7 gangsters were killed. You guys know what that's called? It was dubbed.
Oh, that's
something.
the Valentine's Day Massacre?
That is correct. Yeah. Man, you guys are sharp. So February 14th, 1931, Jimbo will like this one, the original Dracula film starring Bela Lugosi as the vampire is released on that day in 1931. A little lesser known, well, I'll skip over that one. That one's kind of not really that big of a trivia point. Try to stick to the bigger ones. February the 14th, 1967, Aretha Franklin records her best single of all time. What do you guys think it is? 1967.
R-E-S-B-E-C-T.
That's right. She recorded it in Atlantic Studios in New York City. And then that was her rendition. It actually was Otis Redding's tune, apparently. And it became Song of the Year in 1967. So it took home all the awards. She got all of her respect. February 14th, 1991. This film starred Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins. It was based on a book by Thomas Harris. And the movie was directed by Jonathan Demme. Anybody want to take a stab at that one? It won Best Picture in 1992.
We got it.
Of the Lambs.
That's right.
Silence of the Lambs.
You know who didn't get any respect? Rodney Dangerfield. No,
I tell you, I got no respect. No respect at all.
He never does. All right, and then my last trivia point here, February 14th, 1992. This is a comedy film that was based on their Saturday Night Live sketch premises. It starred Mike Myers and Dana Carvey. You guys want to? That's right. Man, I can't get one by you guys tonight. Wayne's World. Are you guys fans of Wayne's World? I loved Wayne's World.
Of course, Shaw.
Yeah, of course.
Man.
As if.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Boxy. I'm just a little. What was that when they sing in Bohemian Rhapsody?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember that brought that song completely back to American consciousness. Because
that song went right back up to the top of the charts because of that movie.
Exactly. Like I remember riding home in the car after, I don't know, I'd seen the movie, and I remember asking my parents, I was like, do you know who Queen is, Mom and Dad? Or Bohemian Rhapsody? They're like, yes, we know who that is. Like, we've heard that song.
I always wanted that thing that like dispensed Twizzlers.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
He had that thing that had like red licorice out from the top of his car. You just pull it out and break off a piece.
We got to cover Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2.
All right, deal.
Done?
Yeah, surprised you haven't already. That was good times. All right, let's talk about a couple birthdays. February 14th, 1817, the African-American abolitionist lecturer and editor who was also escaped the slave trade, one Frederick Douglass, was born in 1817, and he died in 1895. February 14th, 1849, American comedian of the same name, the Jack Benny program. Jack Benny was born in Chicago, Illinois, on February 14th, 1894, and passed in 1974. And then finally, February 14th, 1948, American magician of the duo Penn and Teller, who was the illusionist. He was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So Teller, I looked up, I couldn't find, does he have a first name? Is Teller his last name? I have no clue.
No, it's just always like Penn Jillette. Yeah, it's Penn Jillette and my buddy Teller.
Yeah, it's just Teller. And
I have heard him talk before.
So have I. It's wild, ain't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. I went to go see him. He and my brother and I went to go see him in Las Vegas, and it's so cool because after their shows, they go out into the hall and sign autographs and talk to the fans and stuff. They don't charge anybody anything like some celebrities charge. They don't. They just stand out there. They sign like playing cards and stuff like that, and talk to the fans and take pictures with them.
That's
which
cool.
I thought was pretty. And so Teller does talk during that time.
Did you get a autograph?
I did. Somewhere deep in my phone are some pictures of me with Penn and Teller, and then I have a playing card with Penn and Teller's autograph on it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
do they have a residency in Las Vegas? Does anybody know? I thought they did at one time.
Not as often. Not as often as they used to.
Right? Yeah.
I think it was at the Rio.
Yeah. All right, that's the last of my birthdays. Let's just get a few mundane facts about this episode. Well, I guess they're not mundane. They're pretty important to the people who created them. So this episode was written by Earl Hamner Jr. And I'll just throw this out there right now. I thought the script was pretty great, kind of poetic and Shakespearean. The script was. No matter what you think about the episode, I thought the script was pretty well done. Featured music by Nathan Van Cleve. And as I stated earlier, this was February 14th, 1963, original air date. Total production costs, again, just trending upwards, $120,100 for this episode.
That's just for the Cougar or Jaguar or whatever.
Man, probably.
Jaguar rental.
Yeah, I'm sure it was probably very expensive. A lot of days, no rehearsal days for this one. So I don't know if they just didn't rehearse because the actors are that good. I mean, Anne Francis is pretty good. But a lot of days of
pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of days of filming. 18th of September, 19, 20, 21, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 of 1962 in the fall.
They should have rehearsed.
Yeah. They probably had to do a lot of recuts because there was a lot of days of filming. So with that, Bond, tell us I already mentioned Anne Francis, so tell us who's in this.
Yeah, it's pretty good, man. Like you said, directed by Buzz Killick, written by Earl Hamner Jr. Now, I have in my notes that Earl Hamner Jr. also created The Waltons and the drama Falcon's Crest back in the 80s, which is pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't know about Falcon Crest.
Yeah. Stars Anne Francis as Jess-Belle, the title character. She was in the movie Forbidden Planet.
I love
and
that
also,
movie.
That's a good one, right? Yeah. And also the movie Funny Girl.
Did you come on and cover that with me and Kyle way back in the day?
I did.
It's a good movie. Yeah. Has James Best as Billy Ben Turner. We know him. He's Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane on the Dukes of Hazzard. And he was also in a movie called The Killer Shrew. The Killer Shrew. I don't think I've seen The Killer Shrew.
Ain't that about the killer rat?
I don't think so. It's a shrew, not a rat.
What's the difference? I don't even know the difference here.
I think a shrew lives underground.
Chat GPT, let me see.
I think a shrew lives underground.
Okay.
That's a shroom.
And then a shroom. That's a shroom. Doesn't it live in the dark? We have Laura Devon as Elwyn Glover. She was in a movie called Chamber of Horrors.
Yeah.
Not much else. And Jeanette Nolan as Granny Hart, who was in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
She's great in this. She's great in this.
She does the voice, like a lot of cartoon voices from like The Rescuers.
Wow.
And Fox and the Hound.
Oh.
She was in the Twilight Zone episode The Hunt. I don't know which one that one is, but The Hunt.
That's
was
the
that
one with
you
the
guys already
dog.
covered?
That's the one with the dog.
Oh, that's the one with the dog. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
like that.
season 3.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
Bond's already forgot.
I'm all, which one is that one? Nah, I forgot that one. But yeah, that's your cast of Jess-Belle.
All right, a shrew is not a rodent. Its diet is mostly insects, worms, and small invertebrates. It's much smaller than a rat. It has a long, pointed snout, tiny eyes, and ears. So it has venomous saliva too. It says here. Some species have venomous saliva, so don't mess around.
Then what about Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew?
Not familiar. I'm
she
familiar
didn't
with the title. Yeah. Ooh.
That was just a girl they couldn't control.
That's a good movie.
All right, let's launch into Jess-Belle. Let's go through our acts. 3 acts in this one, just same as always. We're going to plow right through it. We got some clips, some audio clips that hopefully will shed some light and bring some context. But an opening scene in Act 1, kind of entitled this, The Jealousy and the Spell. We have our opening narration. We've already covered that. Rod talks about the Appalachian Mountains, and he talks about Jess-Belle, and obviously we have this great theme music. That's another thing that kind of sets this episode apart from other Twilight Zone episodes, is that it has its own theme music inside of its own episode.
And they're not afraid to play it over and over and over again.
No, they are not. At the opening of every scene, they like to play it. So we meet our 2 main characters, Billy Ben and Elwyn Glover. And Billy Ben, there's an announcement, and I think it's Ellie's father gets up on the stage, and he's delighted to announce the engagement of his daughter Elwyn to a great guy, Billy Ben, and it's a warm and affectionate type moment. Their happiness is at its zenith, right? And then someone slips into the crowd, into the back of the room, and we meet Jess-Belle.
Okay, let me ask you. Let's start with Bond. Bond, Jess-Belle or Elwyn?
Man, I knew you were going to ask this question. I knew this was coming up. Man, that's a hard one.
That's like Marianne or Ginger, right?
Yeah, it just depends on the day of the week, man. It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. I'm going to have to say Jess-Belle. I think I'm more of a Jess-Belle guy.
All right.
You know,
Eric?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Elwyn. Jess-Belle was a witch, so yeah, I don't want to be. I don't want to be.
Yeah.
Spell all over me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Elwyn. So wait,
Jimbo, what do you?
I'm sorry, I didn't want to skip over.
I'm going with Jess Elwyn.
Yeah,
you can't have Jess Elwyn.
can't have them both.
I'm going with Grandma Hart, man.
Granny Hart.
Oh, there you go. Good choice.
So Jess-Belle learns the news, right, of this engagement. She walks in on it, and her face just turns completely downward, and she leaves the party rather swiftly, right?
Well, let me ask you this question, okay? What do you think of Mr. Roscoe Pico Train at this moment? Where has he been a little tomfoolery with Jess-Belle all along?
I think so. I think that becomes apparent as we move through the episode, right?
Yeah, he's been at least leading her on. You know what I'm saying? Because her affection didn't come out of nowhere.
He wants his cake and eat it too. Huh?
Yeah, I think there's a little messing around going on with Billy Ben and Jess, because she describes it in great detail, right? The moonlight and everything that's going on. I think there's a little bit of something going on.
Slim in that town, though. So
yeah, it might have been like a summer fling type thing. And
I don't know, man. But he always goes back to her, right? That's so I don't know.
So Jess-Belle, called her Jess-Belle. Jess-Belle, let me hit that harder. Hears that her former lover, Billy Ben Turner, is about to marry Elwyn Glover, and she reacts with obvious, visible bitterness, insisting that Billy Ben should have been hers. So she moves through the crowd and goes home early. Okay, here's my question. I'll throw one out here for you guys. Let you chew on it for a little bit. If Billy Ben and Jess-Belle had a previous romantic history, and I think it's been established so far that they probably have, why would Elwyn insist on preventing her from leaving? It seems like she pushed her man into the arms of another woman, right? What do you guys think about that?
Because I think as you watched the episode, Eric, with a keen, sharp eye like I did,
Yeah.
I think that they were actually friends at one time.
Oh, I'm sure they were, but
Right.
it seems like a little bit of a misstep on Elwyn. I know she's pure of heart and she's like the most
Yeah, I think
virtuous.
she just wants everybody to be friends. And she's
Yeah.
like, come on, we were friends. There's no reason this should ruin our friendship and ruin our relationship. You should be happy for us. We're getting married.
Right. Like, haha, I won.
So do you think,
I'm
so
getting
she,
married.
you think she knows that Jess-Belle has a thing for Billy?
That's a good question, Bon.
course, I'm
I
sure.
don't know, but I don't see. If she did know, that was a really bad move on her part because
Yeah, kind of a
she's-
jerk move, right?
Well, she just setting him up to get, reacquainted by, having an intimate moment outside of the barn here. And like, oh no, please come back and enjoy, our dance party or whatever for the celebration of our engagement. That just seems like, if it was a regular type situation, the fiance would be like, I don't care if she leaves or not. Like, I don't have
Yeah.
a problem with it.
We don't need her anymore anyway.
Yeah, right.
I got you.
So anyway, so they go and have this conference, if you will, outside of the dance hall, and Elwyn's brokenhearted. Like even her dad's like, "Well, I'm not going to let you take her back. Even if he comes back and apologizes, I'm not going to let that happen. He's done." Because well, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but before that happens, I'm kind of getting ahead. Let me back up. So they go and have this meeting outside, and Jess-Belle quote says this: "Tell your love a thing from me." And Billy Ben says, "Well, what's that?" She says, "Tell her not to start making her wedding dress right yet." So Jess-Belle throws down the gauntlet and is like, "Look, just because you're engaged, you ain't married yet.
It ain't over.
Yeah,
Till
I'm
it's
still,
over.
I'm still getting in the ring, and I'm going to fight for what's mine." And then the next scene is Jess-Belle. She visits Granny Hart, right? And
Now let me ask you a question about this scene. So, when it first shows Granny Hart, she's like stirring the cauldron. She looks like an old hag, right?
I know that's a great
Notice that?
that's a
And
great
then when
shot. She's like a
when
witch.
She turns around.
She
just
throws
looks
it
normal.
off, and
Is
yeah.
that a different character?
No, I mean, I just think she did such a good job of looking like a witch,
I mean, it
hunched
was
over
really
a
good.
boiling cauldron, and then she throws her cloak off immediately when the doorbell rings or whatever, or
Right.
the
But
knock at the
I
door.
went back and you could see the cutscene, like it. The chopping of the thing. So I thought it might have been a
A
different
stand-in or something?
Yeah, like a different person.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't
it'd be
know.
pretty cool if
know.
it was.
But that's what I was thinking. But I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great transformation scene. I mean, if they did put a stand-in, it did its job because it was great emphasis on that transformation.
And then if they didn't, it's even better because that means
Yeah.
that's just her acting ability and the ability
Exactly.
to like transform herself
Yeah.
into like this old hag into a
Yeah.
normal little old lady.
Right. That's definitely good. So Jess-Belle, she enters Granny Hart's dimly lit cabin, and it has candles and strange objects all around, and she begs the old woman to make Billy Ben love her again. And so old Granny Hart's like, "Well, what do you got? You got to either have money or clothes or something of value." And that's the oldest, dirtiest witch's trick in the book, right? If you come empty-handed, you're going to have to give up something you don't want to give up. I think she tries. Is this where she tries
He
to,
tries to give her that silver hair clip. Remember?
Yeah, she has like a silver hair clip. She's
Yeah.
like, no.
which I didn't even know. You guys probably know because you're smart, but like the silver witches lore and all that stuff,
Yeah,
they're not
yeah,
allowed to
they-
touch it.
And that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never was familiar with that one. And
Oh, yeah.
so I had to look it up once I watched it. I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. So Granny Hart, because I can't get her name. Because Jess-Belle has nothing to barter with.
Let's just call her Jess
Okay, that'll ease it up for me. So
or
Jess,
JB.
yeah, JB. She doesn't have anything to barter with. So Granny says, "Well, magic always carries a price." And Jess is like, "Look, I'll pay anything." And Granny says, "Okay, I'll give you this portion, the potion, and it'll make Billy Ben forget Elwyn, and he'll fall madly in love with you." And she says, "The cost of this, you'll know, quote, in the midnight hour." Right? So you'll know in the midnight hour. And what ends up happening as in most of these stories and tales that you hear about, it ends up being Jess-Belle's humanity and ultimately her soul. That's what she's forfeiting in order to.
This is so crazy because it's like, first off, Witch 101. Never ever go to a witch and ask for love.
Right.
Everybody knows that. It's like, hey, if you want to ask a witch for something, never ask a witch to help you fall in love or have somebody fall in love with you. It never goes well because the price is always too high.
But you got to remember what happened. She told Granny Hart, "Oh yeah, well you help so and so." You remember? She's telling and she's telling them like 3 different people she's helped or whatever. So I don't think they call her a witch per se. What do they call her? They think she's like a
Granny,
something like that. You know what I mean? But I don't think that she was known as a witch at that moment from her until she told her.
So she was somewhat in disguise from the townspeople, right?
But I mean, that's kind of the witch's bread and butter, right? Like if you're a witch, how do you pay the rent?
Yeah.
Right? How do you pay the rent if you're a witch?
Yeah.
You sell love potions.
Yeah.
That's your number one seller.
Yeah,
I
and
really
you
wish they would have got paid the rights for Love Potion number 9.
Yeah, and you got to fly under the
radar. It would just been great if she pulled it off the shelf and there was a 9 on the bottom.
You got to fly under the radar. You can't just go and announce to everyone in the town, "Hey, I'm a witch," right? You got to kind of be undercover.
The stake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, unless you live in Salem, you can't do that.
Yeah. So the spell takes effect. It works after she drinks it down, and it gets a little. I think in her chest, she's like, "Oh, I can feel it doing something." And then she returns back to the dance, and then Billy Ben suddenly loses interest in Elwyn, and he becomes intensely devoted to Jess. Right, his eyes are just like laser beams, and he can't see anyone. And then they just like dance for like maybe 10 seconds, and then both of them like walk hand in hand, just out of the building and away from everything that's going on.
Into the hay,
and then into the. Now, my question is, how far did Granny live away from?
I don't know.
That was pretty close to that barn,
right? Because that was a quick trip.
Or the party was super long,
right?
I mean, that might have been like hour 3 or 4 of that barn burner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Elwyn she's confused and she's completely heartbroken. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there's some commentary like the mom and the dad have some lines in there, and the dad was adamant that even if he comes back and begs on his knees, so to speak, I'm not going to let you take Billy Ben back because he's just betrayed you in front of like all of these people. And she's just completely heartbroken. And she says Jess-Belle bewitched him. And she's like, there's no way I can get him back now because it's over. And then we move to scene 7. And they're laying around in the hay at midnight. I think Bond already alluded to that. And Jess starts to feel some strange sensations, right? And she says, like the moon is going down, and she tries to get away. She's got to get home. I got to get home to Mother. And Billy Ben's like, we never cared about your mom before. Like, why you got to go home? And things sort of escalate, and then she gives Billy Ben his first like smack in the face to get away from him. And then from there, I think she goes home. She rushes home to her room, says something really quickly to her mom, and then rushes into her room, and then a puff of smoke. And this is the first indication of the transformation, which you guys tell us what happens. Yeah, tell us what happens.
Kind of witchcraft is at foot at that point. Man, I'm telling you.
What was it, Bond? What happened to her?
She turns into a kitty.
Kitty.
Yeah, a big leopard cat.
Yes, for some reason she turns into a leopard. I never got the connection between, at midnight you don't turn into a pumpkin, or your friends don't turn into mice. You know what I'm saying? No. Yeah. She turns into a jungle cat.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you guys
how long
this.
Does she stay a jungle cat? Does she stay a jungle cat until the sun comes out?
I would assume, yeah. That's kind of what I got.
No, it's not that long.
It's not?
I think it's only the 12 to 1 o'clock hour.
Oh. You think it's like for an hour she's a jungle cat?
I kind of thought it was...
because if you remember that first night, she's just goes out for a little bit and comes back, she wakes up in the outside, right? And it's still nighttime.
I think that's in the second transformation. She prowls around outside by the fence and in the woods for a little spell there. But
So
here's my
turn into
question.
smoke and can she turn into smoke and like reappear somewhere else as a cat, or is she just a cat walking around in the?
But she doesn't remember
woods for an hour.
when she wakes up. Remember, she don't remember what's going on, right?
Yeah, she doesn't know she's a cat.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she knows she's a cat, but she doesn't remember. She doesn't have the memories of what happened when she was a cat, right?
Oh, okay. So yeah, she turns into a cat, but she's like, I don't know
It's
what I did.
kind of
when I was a cat.
unclear. Yeah. What I would assume that she doesn't have any memory of her being a cat.
So would you still marry her?
Absolutely.
Here's my
Just gotta make sure you're home by 11:45, right?
You know why? Because when she gets older, she'll be a cougar.
here's my question. Maybe I missed this in the explanation of Granny Hart, but does she know? I know in the midnight hour, the things are going to happen. Granny Hart explains that to her, but does Jess-Belle know that she's going to actually turn into a cat? That's not specifically laid out, right? She just
I
knows.
don't think so. She
Okay.
doesn't know. I don't think she knows what. She doesn't know what the consequence is going to be.
But she just knows there is
she would
one.
know there's going to be one at the midnight hour. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she knows.
Yeah. Okay. But she knows that something's happening, right? Because the moon's going down. She's got to get home. She knows that something's going to happen. Okay. But she doesn't know exactly what's going to happen.
Right.
Because I was a little confused on that part. All right. That takes us out of act number 1. And we had a lot to talk about in act number 1. Let's go to act number 2. She starts to lose, we'll call this losing her humanity. So the morning after, Jess-Belle wakes up exhausted. Now this, in my notes, it says she remembers the night clearly, but she probably remembers up until that point. I don't think her memory of the cat part is probably a little hazy. She realizes, though, one thing, that this spell is real. And this guy comes back to her belly bin under a tree, and he hands her an engagement ring. And whose ring is it? It's Ellie's old ring that he's
That's
recycled.
I mean,
Still good.
What do you think about that?
that sounds like something 80s E would pull off.
Of
being that
course,
cheap,
I'm
right?
cheap like that.
It's amazing that they both have the same ring size.
Yeah, right. It just so happened to work out perfectly.
It's all loose around her fingers. Just
Yeah.
right on her thumb.
Yeah, Billy Ben, as the kids would say, has no chill at all because he doesn't
not at all.
care. So he says, "No, this is Jess-Belle's ring," or he plays it off some kind of way. But he goes on to describe his full devotion to her. He spends some time with Jess-Belle, and he's completely enchanted. His affection is overwhelming. And Billy Ben says that he's made arrangements with the preacher, the circuit riding preacher of the day. You know, they only come around like once every 2 weeks or something. And they're going to get married. But Jess-Belle keeps putting off the wedding date. And so later on, Billy Ben has a terrible yearning one night and day. He says he can't do anything without thinking about her all day long. And they have another encounter where Jess-Belle has to kind of get away because Billy Ben is pushing up on her so much. And I think nightfall has come again. And this time, Billy Ben receives a dose of cat scratch fever, right? He gets swiped across the face again. And you can see the big cat scratches as she tries to get away. And then she changes. She becomes more cold and less compassionate. Her jealousy and selfishness intensify. And she explains, I think this is where she goes back to Granny Hart. She explains to Granny Hart that it feels like her heart has been cut out.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite little. Is this the part where like she turns into a cat and she's on the roof, and then like he exits the cabin and she's on the roof as a cat?
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where that comes in. That might be right here. Yeah,
and she's on the roof.
That's right.
Still a cat.
That's right. I think it starts in the house, in his cabin or in his
Whoa,
house.
That's pretty cool. She's right there. She's right there.
Yeah, and then she swipes him, and then she runs out, and then gets on the roof, and then there's this great shot of the cat on the roof as he's on the porch.
Yeah, as he's like exiting. That's one.
All right, are you ready for some trivia about that scene right there? Folks?
Yeah, let's have it.
All right. I don't know if you have this, but
No.
Okay. So obviously I'm using one of my many Twilight Zone books. This is the Twilight Zone Encyclopedia by Stephen J. Rubin, author also of the complete James Bond movie encyclopedia, just for future references. So this is I'll just start reading this section. It says, perhaps his most famous episode, writer Earl Hammer's Jess-Belle was written quickly when fourth-season producer Herbert Hirschman called him up and explained that a script had fallen out and they needed a new one in a hurry. Writing one act a day, he delivered a well-received script that drew on his expertise in the authentic backwoods culture of Appalachia. Said director Buzz Kulik, I loved it because I thought it was such a well-written piece. I always liked what Hamner did if he stayed in his own backyard. He had such a good card for these people, and they all rang true. At a 2002 Twilight Zone convention 80s in Los Angeles, actor James Best recalled, quote, are you ready for this? I was very fortunate in my early career to do an awful lot of heavies. I got killed a lot, and I very seldom got a beautiful lady to work with until I did a Twilight Zone with Anne Francis. And then, as my career progressed, I did the Dukes of Hazzard, and I was stuck with a dog and a hog. I think I enjoyed the Twilight Zone as much, if not more, than anyone. The writing in those days was so brilliant, and unfortunately, in this day and age, if you're over 30, you're not on the cutting edge. I'm glad I'm dull. In regards to the panther in the barn, Best recalled, they had the panther on the roof, and I had to come out and light my pipe, and I see the trainer out in front of me, which the camera can't see, and he supposedly had control of this animal. So I come out and I hear the trainer say, don't move.
Don't
and
move.
I thought, what is he giving me directions for? He's not the director. Again, I hear, don't move. And I thought, holy poo-poo. And I backed up and they said, cut. And I said, what's wrong? And he said, we don't have the animal fastened on well enough, and he likes to jump on somebody that's below him.
Cool.
Oh,
What if he would have ignored the orders? Yeah.
I said, can you get a long chain and get on that animal? Because I don't want to come out on that porch again.
I don't blame him there.
when he said "don't move," I'd be like, "Is he talking to me or the cat?"
Yeah, really.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, you think it was the cat the way he's talking, you know what I mean?
Yeah. If the trainer's going, "Don't move, don't move," I'm thinking he's giving the cat directions.
Or is he going? Because they're recording, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of hand gestures. Yeah. So in this scene, we've already kind of set up. That was some good trivia right there. That's some good stuff. So she's in the cabin. She says, "Billy Ben, if you love me, stand aside." And that's when all this takes place. And then I think after she's on the roof as the cat, she runs. This is where she's in the woods and jumping over some fences and stuff. But then you start to hear Granny Hart's echo, "Take what you've paid for. Take what you've paid for," right? And it's sort of the ominous voice in the smoke and everything, the fog of the morning. So the next day she comes back and she's done a complete 180. Jess-Belle has a change of heart. She says, "Billy Ben, I'm ready to marry you." She and Billy just kind of is blissfully unaware of the unnatural influence over him. And then he says something to the effect like, "The animals were up all night. I had to go outside and calm them down because Jess-Belle was, prowling around during the night. And now she's making him breakfast and everything. Everything's all good. She's ready to get married when the preacher comes by." Then we come to the next scene, and this is some of the best passive-aggressive dialogue in the whole episode between Elwyn and Jess-Belle. So I'm just going to let this play, and you guys can enjoy this. I entitled this clip, "Cat Fight."
Hello, Jess. You're a long way from home, Ellie Glover. Lots of wildflowers around here. Saw a patch of old maid's fern up on the mountain. I noticed a lot of vixenwort around here myself. This came from Billy Ben's. Fixed his breakfast for him.
Well, I reckon that's no concern of mine.
The circuit preacher's gonna marry us when he comes around next Sunday.
I wish you happiness. For his sake.
Still love him, Ellie?
The last time I saw Billy Ben Turner's face, he was under a magic spell. And even the love I hold for him couldn't break it. There's ways. But such ways end bad.
What ways you talking about?
I think you know.
Jealous, ain't you?
No. I'm heartsick to see wrong done to a good man.
Got news there's a wildcat loose in the county. Ain't you scared to be up here alone?
I'll be home by dark. That cat won't venture out until nightfall.
Can't tell what a wildcat'll do.
Well, I reckon we don't have much to fear. My daddy says that killer cat's gonna be dead by morning.
Since when your daddy been able to look in the future and tell what's gonna be?
Well, he's going hunting for that cat tonight. Him and Obed Miller and Billy Ben and all the men.
Billy Ben never said nothing to me about going.
Well, Obed Miller just went over and asked him. I reckon that cat better stay home tonight if it's smart.
I reckon.
I reckon that cat better stay home.
I reckon.
I saw some vixen wood on the other side of the loop.
I know, isn't that great? Vixen
that's
wort
cold
and
blood,
old
man.
maid. I had to look them up. They're like plants, I guess, or flowers.
That's funny, man. That
Yeah.
whole scene's great.
I know.
It's like they're talking to each other, insulting each other, but not directly.
Yeah, in a nice way.
Yeah.
So there's a big hunting party. Billy Ben joins the hunters in the woods, and they encounter the leopard. The gunshots echo out in the barn, or I think it gets trapped in the horse barn or something, and they kill it. But the leopard vanishes, and the leopard is shot and dead, and the body dissolves into smoke. And then Billy Ben finds Jess-Belle's ring on the ground, but she has seemingly vanished. And then we come to Act 3. It's 1 year later. Time has passed, and Billy Ben has recovered from Jess-Belle's mysterious disappearance, and he finally decides that he's going to marry Elwyn. There's some strange signs. Soon after the wedding, strange disturbances begin around the home. There are shadows, animal sounds, and unsettling dreams. And then Jess-Belle appears, and she manifests herself in some eerie forms, like she was a spider at the wedding ceremony. What else? She was a mouse,
right?
on the clock. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, mouse on the clock.
And so she shows up, and then Billy Ben, he realizes that she's returned. And so he goes to seek Granny Hart's help. And so Billy goes, but he has money, and he's like, look, I got to get rid of her. Jess-Belle keeps coming back, and he gives her a whole pocket full of money. And, you know, it's funny. This is a good scene, too, because Granny Hart tries to woo him as well, like trying to put get a lock of his hair or something like that. But
Yeah. I'll do it for a lock of your hair.
Yeah. But he doesn't fall for it. And Granny Hart describes this sequence in which he has to put like a piece of clothing up or whatever and drape it over the mannequin body, and then take that pin of silver. She lays it all out for him. And if he has the guts, he has to stab her in the heart and kill her. So all this time, Elwyn is left back at the cabin. We'll just call it that. But when he returns, he finds that Elwyn is possessed, and she's, acting strangely, and Jess-Belle has apparently taken over her body. And Elwyn, who is possessed, she's sitting out like on a tree stump when Billy Ben comes back, and she delivers her best Joker line, "Dance with me in the moonlight," right? And that, I don't know what you guys thought. That was kind of cheesy, like poorly dubbed, or maybe she just didn't really do a good acting job. I don't know. So then comes the effigy part. he places Jess-Belle's dress. Well, in the meantime, I kind of glossed over that. He goes and retrieves the wedding dress that Jess-Belle's mother had made for her wedding.
And was
day.
altering, right?
Right. And so he takes that dress and puts it on the mannequin in an effigy and does the whole ritual, stabs the hairpin into her heart. She appears, her eyes like roll back into her head, and then she disappears in a cloud of smoke, and the witch is destroyed. And Elwyn wakes up with no memory of anything since the wedding. And then we have the final scene of them two, what was it, like on the porch? And they see a shooting star, right? And they say, well, apparently that's, Elwyn quietly says, this must mean that a witch died, which I had never heard that either. Like the silver with the witch lore. I've never heard of that either.
Yeah.
Just
if you see a shooting star, it means a witch died.
Think of all the witches that Walt Disney killed at the beginning of his.
Yeah. I guess it's, I looked it up.
Like a meteor shower out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of Disney dead witches. It's early modern European folklore, especially in rural England and parts of Germany. A falling star, what we now call a meteor, was sometimes believed to represent a soul leaving the earth. In some witch lore traditions, people said that a bright meteor meant that a witch had died or lost its power. So, I don't know.
That's
so,
cool.
Yeah. So that comes to the end of the episode, and we have, I'll just throw this trivia out early, that this is the only episode in the history of the Twilight Zone that doesn't have a rod ending narration to close the show. So, thoughts, feelings?
Is that because the song speaks for itself?
I think so.
The little song that goes throughout kind of like is the narration. So it's like we don't need him to come out and say it again.
Yeah, that would be a great explanation. That makes a whole lot of sense.
I think that's kind of why they did it.
Yeah, so thoughts, feelings?
Do you have any more trivia, Jimbo?
Yeah, Jimbo, do you
No,
have?
not for this one. No.
No? Okay.
I have a couple. I think Jimbo's already mentioned Jess-Belle is a homonym for Jezebel. The haunting song, I thought this was kind of interesting, that we heard during the episode was sung by a lady named Tara Leigh, and she has basically a very small catalog, but she had a very distinct voice, obviously, in this episode. So Jeanette Nolan and Virginia Gregg, they voiced the character of Norman Bates' mother in Psycho.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of interesting how that all came to be. Both Anne Francis, the actress who played Alteria Morbus, and James Best, who had I didn't know this, had an uncredited role in Forbidden Planet.
Yep.
So
cool.
And then finally, something about the animal. Hamner stated that Jess-Belle's original animal incarnation in the script was a tiger, but Herbert Hirschman told him at the time that tigers provided tigers provided by the animal trainers were too hard to work with. So they wanted a tiger, but they were too hard to work with. And Hamner recalled Hirschman phoning and complaining. He says, "I'm up to my
Jimbo's
butt."
Laughing at you because he's thinking about Siegfried and Roy.
No, even better. They could have got Joe Exotic just to lay on top of the roof. The Tiger King himself.
They could have got the Tiger King.
Yeah. So Hirschman says, "I'm up to my you-know-what in tigers." He says, but none of them can act. So it was changed to a leopard, and the original intention was to have a black leopard to match Jess-Belle's black hair, but none were available, so Hirschman had to settle for the spotted leopard, which I'm sure are not indigenous to the Blue Ridge Mountains of West Virginia. Yeah. So that's all the trivia. Good, bad, and the ugly. I'll let whoever wants to go first give their review.
Go ahead, Bond. Take it away.
All right, man. You guys kind of sold me a little bit on this episode. As we're talking through it, it's getting better and better because as we were talking through it, I was thinking about how God gave us a choice as a race to love him. God being all powerful could have forced us to love him. Mm-hmm. He could have said, you will love me. You will show me love. But he didn't. He gave us free will. He gave us a choice. And so as I'm listening to this episode, we're talking through it, I start thinking about that, the choice of love as opposed to love being forced upon you. Because how do you know if someone truly loves you if they're given this potion?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so even if it all worked out for Jess-Belle and she ended up with Billy, and they lived happily ever after, there would always be in the back of your mind is this the potion that loves me, or is this Billy that loves me?
Good point.
And so I think that as we were talking about the episode, that kind of sunk in for me. I was like, is forced love really true love if you weren't given a choice? Well, so I really like that aspect.
Not only that, Bob, but I also thought about like, back in, even Middle Ages, or even where you had arranged marriages where you didn't have a choice period anyway, right?
Yeah. And some countries still do.
Right.
Like some countries like India and things like that, they still have arranged marriages with families. So it's rough. So in that aspect, I think that this episode's pretty good. I think it's well written. I do not like the leopard at all. I don't think it fit in at all. They already had to make so many adjustments. Oh, it's not a tiger. Oh, we need a black one. We don't have a black one. Let's get a spotted one. At some point, just scrap the big cat and make it some other beast. Mm-hmm. I don't know why she couldn't turn into some sort of beast, some sort of fiend, some sort of creature in the woods that they have to hunt down.
Bigfoot.
I don't know why you had to put this jungle animal. Yeah. I don't know why you had to put this jungle animal in the middle. It's weird. I did not like the song at all.
Oh,
you guys are big fans of the song, and here's why I didn't like it. It's the same song my mom used to sing to me as a kid when I was going to put me to sleep at night. Mm-hmm. But she would switch out the names, and so it was really awkward. It's really awkward, and so it just became about my mom and dad, and so it was, I was tossing and turning as a 6-year-old. It was rough. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
I was like, we're going down here goes Bond's Christmas wish list.
I know. Here we go. No, it was just it was just annoying. That song was just so, and it came out all the time. I don't think it was well acted. Maybe
Granny Hart at least.
Granny Hart, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Granny Hart, but I don't think that Billy Ben Turner, whatever his name was, did a good job. I don't think the girls did a good job. Other than that one scene you played. Well, that one little scene you played, Eric, was well played. The way they played with words, but that was writing. You know what I'm saying? That was the writing there. So I think it was well written. But the way they kind of beat around the bush. I'm going to give this one probably a 6.5.
Okay.
It was about a 6 for me, but I'm going to give it another half point just because we got to talk it through.
We talked you up a half point. Yeah.
Talked me up a half point. My prop piece, can I have the wedding ring?
Sure.
That's what I want. I want the wedding ring.
Sounds good.
Well, Bond, here's where I'm going to disagree with you in a few things. One, yes, the writing was really good, but I don't think you could have just put any actresses in there and get them to have that synchronicity that those two had at that moment. I think that was really well acted out, and it actually, synergized the story for me. Now, your point of I didn't like the big cat. I didn't either. But what about this? Instead of turning into an animal, why couldn't she just turn ugly?
That's what I'm saying, like a beast.
No, just ugly.
An ugly beast.
But I'm just saying, somebody that Billy Boy wouldn't have found attractive. So what are you going to do?
So like a Shrek, like a Shrek situation,
kind of like a reverse Shrek, kind of. Yes, exactly. So what are you going to do when you're in bed with him and that midnight hour strikes? You know what I mean? And then you're like, whoa!
Dude, we've all been there, brother. We've all been there.
Right. Yeah, but I the song, it's okay. It grows on you as it goes on and on and on, right? And it kind of helps push along the story, I think. It's kind of like a ballad, right? That it keeps changing verses and all that. It grew on me, so I didn't hate it. For me, I'm going to give this probably a 7. I don't think it's the worst one of episode or season 4. And you know what? I don't even think it, even with all the episodes we've already watched, it's probably not even in the top 10 worst episodes. We've seen some pretty bad clunkers, right?
Yeah.
And did you know that Jaguar was also in another Twilight Zone episode?
Oh, was it really?
Well, I don't know. I'm just talking about, remember when the guy thinks Africa's in New York chasing him down? What was that called? Do you remember in the streets of New York?
Yeah, I remember the episode. I don't remember.
At the very last scene, there was a lion.
In the bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my prop piece, man, I want the cauldron.
Okay.
The vial thing that had the potion that she drank.
Oh, okay. The vial of the potion. Got you.
The potion. Yep.
I love potion number 9.
Yep.
So you're a 7. Bond, what was your rating again?
6.5. You guys pop me up to 6.5.
Okay, so in the first 7 episodes of this season, where do you guys think? Is it top tier at least? It's not bottom tier.
Can we have a list of the episodes? We had the ship at 20,000, the Ark at 20,000 feet or whatever it was. Right?
I'll come
yeah,
back.
We had the mute death ship. We had I don't have the name of them. The one where Dennis Hopper becomes Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have a grand list either in front of me. But I was just curious.
In front of me.
Curious. I would
say it's probably middle.
Yeah, I would venture to say this, that it's probably, so far at least, there's 18 episodes, it's in the top echelon so far. That's my
So you put the top 3 of 7.
Yeah. So it's
the question is it going to be there at the end of the season? So the tragedies is going to be the question.
With that assertion, I think that this episode grew on me. I liked the ballad as well. It started out kind of cheesy, but when the script writing is absolutely superb. I mean, this guy wrote for the Waltons, and I didn't know about Falcon Crest, but he wrote for the Waltons. And Earl Hamner, it's very poetic language set with a Southern accent. Now, Anne Francis's Southern accent I struggled with a little bit, but I think her overall acting was pretty well. I thought it was well acted. Jimbo mentioned synergy. I would tend to agree with that between those two. And actually, Elwyn, what's her real name? Elwyn. She was very new to acting when she started this episode.
Yeah, Laura Devon.
Laura Devon, yeah. So she didn't have a whole lot of credits by the time that she ended her acting career. But I thought she held her own. Granny Hart, outstanding. Like, I believed that she was a witch, 100%. It's one of those. I think it's one of those Twilight Zones that kind of gets glossed over. It's kind of unnoticed. I liked it personally. I would rank it at least a 7. It's at least a 7, maybe just a touch higher. And yeah, I enjoyed it. The more that I watched it, it became, you know me. The first couple of times I fall asleep on them, but once I really dig down into it, and I like Bond's point, about the choices that we make in life, and having that in the back of your mind. If you, for some reason, if you could put a spell on somebody and actually make them like you or even love you, the philosophical dynamic of that and how that would play tricks with your mind. Would it really be true love? Well, no, in the most honorable sense, it wouldn't be true love that she experienced. But how much did Jess-Belle love him that she was willing to sell her soul just to have that love? So they had some kind of heated romance. The story doesn't really unpack it completely, but it seems like it was pretty hot and heavy there for a little while between them. But Billy Ben might have just been, the playboy of the Blue Ridge Mountains. I don't know, but I like the story. It has shades of William Shakespeare in it, right? Maybe, but it's set in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I liked it. It's a 7. My prop piece, I'm going to take the silver pin in her hair, the silver hair.
All right, wait a minute, bud. Wait, we have a new segment.
Okay.
It's called Fix the Ending, Baby.
Oh, you're going to fix this one.
All right, Bond. How are you gonna fix the ending of this episode to satisfy your desires?
Yes.
So here's what I'm gonna do, because the next episode of the Twilight Zone
no. We'll get
is called
Miniature
Ellen Glover.
Oh.
And it's her point of view. And we see that she's secretly going to see the witch. She's secretly going to see Granny Hart.
She already has the potion already.
So she was the first to use the potion on Billy. And when she finds out that Jess-Belle has gone, is now you see Granny Hart playing two sides of the same love story. Because that's why she says
Jess-Belle has bewitched him.
Yeah, how would you know about
how would you know unless you've done it yourself?
With Granny Hart.
Aha.
So how to end it is part 2 called Ellie. And then you see her point of view, and you see the fact that she was secretly dealing with Granny Hart this whole time.
And you could call it LEG. So
LEG.
LEG.
Okay.
That's the way I would do it.
Fix the ending.
Oh, I don't have a fixed ending for this one. Sorry. You gotta let me know about these.
This? Well, let me ask a question before I fix the ending. Did she still have that silver clip in her hair when she was a witch? Does anybody notice?
I didn't pay attention close enough. I don't think she could have.
I don't know. I didn't.
I would assume no.
That just popped in my head when we start. You took the clip. I was like, you know what? I don't know if that clip was still in her hair. I didn't even look. I remember her taking it out for the witch. I remember trying to hand her. She's like, no, or whatever. And she puts it back in. But I don't remember. I don't know.
From that moment on, did she have it?
Right.
So what about this? How about you could do it like Romeo and Juliet, right? Mm-hmm. You could have Jess-Belle that she can't live like this and doing this night after night. So she decides that she's going to poison herself, right?
Okay.
And when Billy Boy comes in, he sees her dead. Boom, the curse is broken. And he tries to go back to get with Ellie, right? Because now you could do it or you could do it where she takes the potion, kills herself in quotation marks. He comes in, can't live without her, so he decides to kill himself. Then she wakes up, and now she's doomed forever because she did give her love to the boy, but now she's going to be stuck as a witch and still with this curse for the rest of her life.
So a little Romeo and Juliet twist on it.
Right.
Okay. I got it. It's good.
Yeah. So, we're going to start doing Fix the Ending. If you didn't like the ending, the next episode, we are fixing the ending, boys. Just be ready, okay?
Yeah.
Well, anything else before we start wrapping this up?
No, you can shut her down.
Good episode.
Bob, where can they find us on the social medias?
Hey, you know where I always check? Facebook. I always go to Facebook. But if you'd like to email us, you can email us too.
Can you get it right today?
thetragedyofcinema@gmail.com.
And as always, if you're one of Bond's fourth graders and you stumble upon this Twilight Zone episode,
you could also email me at school because you know that email address too.
All right, so next episode. We had 2 pretty good episodes back to back. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, I was just going to jump right in here. If you want to hear a preview, I got a preview for the next episode entitled Miniature. Do you want to listen to that?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, let's listen.
Next on Twilight Zone, a most unusual program called Miniature. The very eminent Charles Beaumont takes us into a brand new realm of science fiction and fantasy that is at the same time intriguing and strangely believable.
Excuse me.
Oh, yes, sir.
I guess this may sound silly, but how do they manage that?
How do they manage what?
In there, in the glass case.
Oh, well, I couldn't say exactly.
According to the museum officials, there was only one figure, the girl.
Have you seen her?
Yes.
Oh, well, is she all right? I've been worried sick.
Stay tuned.
Ooh, sounds exciting. Well, hope you're enjoying our dimension. I can't believe, fellas, that we're getting down towards the end. Eric, do you know how many episodes are left total?
Well, this is episode 7.
No, I'm talking about total.
Oh, total left in season 5. I'm not exactly sure. It's in the 30s for season 5. I would venture a guess that it's probably 40, mid 40s left of episodes.
Yeah, it's going to be sad when we come down to the close of that, ain't it? Yeah, but you know what they say: when one Twilight Zone door closes, another one opens.
The window opens.
That's right.
But I guess this episode's coming to a close, and that's a wrap.
And
cut.